So in approaching and justifying why we don't have female priests, we can look at it in either doctrinal, biblical, or a more common sense, out-of-the-box thinking way. So starting with doctrine, in the Catechism, there's a declaration that's made by Pope John Paul II in 1977. It's paragraph 1577, where basically it talks about how Christ has 12 apostles, and they're all men. And he chose to only have those 12 men present at the Last Supper. So when he says, "This is my body, this is my blood," they were the ones that were present, and there were no women there. So Pope John Paul II said, "The Church recognizes herself to be bound by this choice made by the Lord himself. For this reason, the ordination of women is not possible." So because doctrine is what it is, we can guarantee that we will not have female priests, plain and simple. And so further into that on the why, paragraph 1548, it references this in persona Christi, which means in the person of Christ. So the priest stands in as Christ, and Christ chose to come to this world as a man, right? So we have him where they're representing Christ, and then Saint Ignatius says typos to patros, which means like the living image of God the Father. Now that's not to say that priests are going to be perfect, obviously, because they're human, and unfortunately any of their errors carries a bit more weight, but the doctrine states that due to the grace that's instilled by holy orders, we can take it and know that the body and blood is still transubstantiated, and we still have that ability to partake, to consume the body and blood of Christ. So then, looking at, like, from a biblical standing, right? So Paul says in 1 Corinthians 14:34, he says that women should be silent in the churches. So it's very clear there that they can't do that, but earlier on in 1 Corinthians, I think it's in chapter 11, he talks about how women can still, they can still pray and prophesy in a liturgical setting. They just can't be teaching from the pulpit. But in Titus 2, he talks about how he encourages the women's Christian example and to teach what is good. So when I first started looking at this, I'm like, crap, I have a video blog. Am I even allowed to be? Because I've had this approach. I've had guys say to me, "You're a woman, you can't be teaching. What are you doing?" But the whole thing in the Bible even is that women just can't be teaching in the church. But we're still called to demonstrate our dignity and chastity and everything else. So we're called to that side still. So in early Christian writings too, just to show that it's not a degrading thing to women that we can't be priests. Mary Magdalene is called the apostle of the apostles in early Christian writings. So it's shown there that there are still women who follow the apostles closely, but they just don't break the bread, so to speak, as it's referenced in Acts. So as more of an out-of-the-box thinking, Mother Teresa makes this comment that says, Mary could have easily said, "This is my body." If there was any woman, so Christ was kind of radical, right? And if he wanted women priests, he would have made it happen. And who would have been a better person for that than his mother, right? So he decides to get baptized by John the Baptist. Why, if he wanted women to be priests, why wouldn't he have had his mother baptize him? Or why wouldn't he have demonstrated that that was something that should happen? Or anything like that. But Mother Teresa says Mary could have easily said, "This is my body." She could have been the one who, if she were to take the body and blood to say, to transubstantiate, because it's literally a part of her, right? Christ shares her DNA. She's the only human being that shares DNA with Christ. So if any woman was going to be a priest, it would make sense that it would be her. But Christ doesn't choose to do that. And ultimately, you look at, he was doing miracles on the Sabbath. The Pharisees didn't like that. He did all types of things that the Pharisees disagreed with. So if he was going to take it one step further and say women should be rabbis or priests, he would have done it there. But through apostolic succession and through Peter, which I have a different video blog talking about how that is justified in him being our first pope, we have this apostolic succession, we have the laying on of hands that passes that down. And it's just is what it is. And it's definitely not a bash on women. The church holds equal dignity in that we are a helpmate. And just looking at the church as feminine even, and that it's the bride of Christ, right? So we have these priests who are essentially marrying the church with their celibate lives. And then we have the religious life that women can be a part of, becoming a nun. And we see a difference there because the nuns are a helpmate to the priest, because a large part of that religious life is praying for the priesthood. And then we have the fathers who are married to the church. And it's a different type of relationship that we have the opportunity to experience. And like in Titus, like I said, Titus 2, it talks about like women demonstrating that charity and like that love and the submissiveness, which is not a negative thing at all. And if anything, it just gives us an opportunity to demonstrate the different charisms that we have as men and as women, and demonstrate those different examples. So that's kind of a general overview, and I hope it's helpful. And I'm still in Colorado this week, and my sister did this painting behind me. Great, yeah, I love it. Anyway, so I'll look forward to seeing you guys again next Sunday. Feel free to add any comments or questions, and I'll look forward to chatting with you. And I hope you have a happy Palm Sunday, and we'll see you on Easter. Have a great day.